What do you think of the Ford 6.0L Powerstroke Diesel?
I think it's a great truck overall, but you have to buy them right or be prepared to put some dough into it to make it right.
What do you mean?
Well, it has two issues that can turn into big or just ongoing issues if not addressed properly.
What are you talking about? I've heard these things of all sorts of issues.
Well, that's just it. These two issues cause other issues if not addressed properly.
I see. What are we dealing with then?
Most commonly you will have issues with the EGR, or exhaust gas recirculation unit. This little box takes exhaust right from the cylinders, cools it down and pumps a portion of it back into the cylinders to be refired as inert gas. It lowers overall NOx emissions from the truck.
Where does the EGR go wrong?
The EGR has coolant lines running through it and they tend to break, causing the coolant to mix with exhaust and cause all sorts of issues, as you can imagine. This is most common in the 2003 and 2004 year models, as the later 2005 models came with an upgraded EGR design which also had a tendency to fail, but at a considerably lower rate.
How is it fixed?
Well, that is the problem. Early on, this issue was almost always addressed by replacing the turbo or the injectors or the EGR valve.
How does that make sense? Why would they do that?
Great question. I really don't know. I figure it was either they didn't know exactly what was failing and just replaced the most obvious components because eventually the EGR will ruin all of those parts, or it was a bureaucratic move by Ford who took arms against International, the producer of the motor itself, because the issues were so common. It is also possible the techs were being manipulated by moper-centric Martians.
That's true.
What's true?
Never mind. Do you need to use the bathroom?
No, I am just fine, thank you.
You smell like crap.
I am made out of a garbage box, you dick.
Fair enough.
At any rate, this is the primary cause for the bad rap on the 6.0. Now that the EGR issue is defined, it is quite simple to remedy. I looked for trucks with the EGR updated to a late 05 and up unit.
How do you check that?
You can call a Ford dealership and ask them to check Oasis, a system that records all warranty work done to vehicles in any Ford dealership.
Good to know.
Darn tootin'. Otherwise, there are plenty of aftermarket options for fixing the EGR issue, like a bulletproof EGR kit or a delete kit.
Will it pass smog if the EGR is deleted?
Not in California with a smog artist who knows what he's looking at.
Do they all know what they're looking at with diesel trucks?
No comment.
Noted. So what is the other issue?
Soft head studs.
You mean they're stupid but very good looking and muscular?
Close, but not exactly. I mean to say that under considerable work conditions or any conditions that get the motor very hot, the head studs have a tendency to stretch like pansies, causing the head gasket to fry like an albino in a frying pan under a heat lamp.
Holy schnitzel.
I know. It is less common than the EGR issue, but it does happen.
What can be done about that?
All you can really do is upgrade the head studs if you expect to be working the motor like that extensively.
What do you mean extensively?
I wouldn't haul much more than a 3-horse trailer or the like, and I wouldn't even do that very often without the upgrades.
Well, what good is that?
Not much if you are going to work the shit out of your rig, but they have a place. I personally prefer them over the 7.3.
Are you high?
Currently.
Never mind. Why do you like them more than the 7.3?
The 7.3 is reliable, but it's just not as nice of a ride as the 6.0 era Super Duties, and it doesn't have the oomph I look for in a vehicle in general. In short, it is a bit boring, though it is, as its reputation decrees, an excellent build. I prefer the coil over suspension, the power, and the interior of the 6.0. The prices are more reasonable too, because the 7.3 is hard to find in good condition.
I have noticed that.
It is hard not to notice, as the 7.3 with the right pedigree can pull in several $1,000s more than a 6.0 of similar configuration and miles, yet is several years newer.
So you would buy a 6.0?
Absolutely, as it works for my situation of not using my diesel to pull extensively, and I understand the inherent flaws in the motor.
What about the transmission?
Particularly sturdy in both the 6.0 and the 7.3, though the torque converters tend to be a relatively weak link. I believe the 6.0 transmission was upgraded in 2005.
Is there any difference in reliability between the Super Duty and the Excursions? What got a 6.0 in them?
Nothing of consequence mechanically, though the Excursion does have an advantage in terms of reliability in general, as it is not ideal to pull anything requiring a fifth wheel or a gooseneck hitch.
Ideal. Have you seen it done?
Unfortunately, yes.
You've got to be shitting me.
I shit you not. I think you underestimate how completely moronic some people can be.
Well, I thank you very much for your time and information.
You are most welcome. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir. I think that'll about do it.
Great. Would you mind getting the hell out of my secret lair? I'm working to make sure the legislators don't keep ruining diesel motors with misguided emissions regulations, no doubt provoked by purveyors of gasoline in an effort to ensure their less efficient propellant doesn't go the way of alcohol fuels, using false environmental statistics as a smokescreen to deter the suspicion of the general populace, already lubed up and prepped to receive an eco-enema designed to make them crap out any semblance of reasoning that would otherwise allow them to come to the conclusion they are being manipulated for isolated capital gain, further polarizing the wealth in an already unbalanced economy that leaves those willing to work high and dry on the seesaw that is oligarchy disguised as socialism, disguised as democracy, disguised as freedom.
Shoot, don't let me get near away. Truck on, amigo.
Likewise.